In 2022 and 23, a lot of faster genres have been on the rise, such as stutter house and this ravey fast techno sound. So today I want to show you how you can make a fast techno track in the likes of artists such as Southstar. So for this kind of music, I think you can choose something between 145 and 165 BPM. I chose 155 for this track. And the first thing I did was I laid down these chords here. The song is written in the key of F major. I'm using just a 6-1-4-5 chord progression here. I was reading online that Southstar actually used this preset patch for his track Miss You. So the thing I added here was just a little bit of vintage distortion and a low and high cut. To add a little bit of support, I added this re-space underneath. For the vocals, I found this sample on Splice. This night that we spent, I'm just scratching the surface of you. I then added some more reverb and I pitched it up by 1 octave. I also added this texture here to make the vocal a little bit more interesting. And you can easily do that by just picking a random part of your sample, enabling the texture warp mode, and then just holding down shift and stretching out the vocal. On the vocal group channel, I added a lot of effects. So let's hear how it sounds all together. So I added way too many low cuts, some distortion, and a high cut. Last but not least, I also added this 8th note delay, which is being washed out by a reverb. Altogether, it sounds like this. Let's have a look at the drums now. So the basic groove consists of the kick, an offbeat hat, and a clap. I also added this little reversed clap and some very short hi-hat fills. As far as the processing goes, there isn't much going on. The kick is being saturated a lot by this soft clip here. And this little hi-hat fills have a short delay on them. On the group bus here, I am just gluing everything together a little bit. What's more interesting is the top loop here, which I haven't shown you yet. It sounds like that. And without effects, it sounds like this. So the way I processed it was actually an accident because I copied a vocal chain on the top loop. But in the end, it sounded really nice. So I'm gonna show you everything. You can already see the chain is super long. It's not that complicated though, because a lot of things like these EQs here, they just are doing the same thing over and over again. I'm just gonna mute everything. And the first plugin is this little altar boy here, which is usually used for pitching vocals. And I just pitched down the formant and the pitch by 12 semitones. Sounds like that. After that, I just added a lot of compression. Of course, some more low cuts. The same saturation, such as on the vocal. More compression. More low cuts and a high cut. And again, the same delay and reverb that was used on the vocals. So this is like a super thick layer that's just playing in the background, but it fills so much space and it makes this mix sound much fuller. Without it, it wouldn't sound as big as it sounds now. For the main bass, I've got 2 layers playing, a top/mid layer and a sub layer. Let's have a look at the top layer first. This is more like a plucky layer, which gives the whole thing a little bit of an attack, a little bit of a transient. And the sub layer sounds like that. This is where all the energy is coming from, all the bass. Together they sound like this. And with some saturation, compression, and EQing, they sound like this. What's also interesting about the bass is that it's always playing on the offbeat, like this. This gives it that bouncy, kind of groovy vibe. By the way, I'm actually sidechaining all of the elements to the kick, except for the drums itself, of course. As you've already noticed, this track isn't really complicated to make, and neither is the melody. So let's have a look at that. I was just playing around with some chord melodies. So basically what I mean by that is that I laid down some chords and I added notes on top to accompany the chord. And I came up with this piano here. And the nice thing about this genre is that oftentimes the sounds don't have to be super organic. Sometimes it's that robotic sound that makes the music actually work. Underneath this piano, I added this support layer here. And this harsh saturated lead, which cuts through the mix. On the piano, I added some basic effects again, like a compressor, low cut, and stereo imager, and more low cuts. On the saturated harsh lead, I added some more saturation to bring out that color. In the Ableton EQ, you can actually choose between the stereo signal, and you can also split the signal into the mono and stereo path. And what I did here was just boosting the highs of the stereo signal. On the group channel, I just added some more saturation, compression, and of course a low cut. So let's have a look at the arrangement now. The whole track starts with the chords and the bass playing. In addition to that, the vocals come in. And this crash hits on the first beat. In the second part of the intro, I'm slowly fading in the piano. I'm bringing in that crazy full top loop. And I'm pitching the vocal back down 12 semitones back to its original pitch. So altogether it sounds like this. At the end of the intro, I'm also introducing the support layer of the melody. And then there's this transition part between the intro and the drop. So what's happening here is that I loop the vocal. I'm filtering in parts of the melody. So the tension is rising. I also added the crash from the very beginning, and I also added some more effects like a sweep up and this weird delayed kick. And on the master channel, I'm automating a low cut. In the drop, now all the different elements start playing together. The drums, chords, bass, the melody and the vocals. At the end of each 4-bar loop, I'm introducing the high-pitched vocal from the intro, just to add some variation, make it interesting, keep the momentum going. Same thing for the melody. So on the support layer, I'm opening the cutoff every 4 bars, like this. That's basically it for the drop here. So it's not very complicated, it's not very complex, but I think it does the job, basically. Let's listen to the full result now. And that's it for today. Let me know what you think about the track and what genre I should cover next time. And yeah, thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye bye.